ahead and get started. And for anyone on the phone that doesn't know me, I'm Tina Vestal. I own Vibrant Travel. And we have with us today Sebastien Leroy.
Perfect.
That was my effort. And Sebastien is with AmaWaterways. He was born in France, if you haven't picked that up from our conversations, but he was born in France and actually studied winemaking in school and later became a winemaker in Germany. So I'm sure he's going to talk to us today a little bit about the glue wine and some actual wine that you can while you're there. And he has been with AmaWaterways for 9 years now, and he's worked both on board and on shoreside. So he comes to us with just a wealth of information, and he's to take us on a virtual cruise tonight through the iconic Christmas markets, which to me just sounds amazing. And that's on my agenda for next year. So very excited about that personally. And I've had a lot of people talking about it as well. So Sebastien, I'll let you take it away now.
Thank you. Thank you, Tina. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. As you heard, my name is Sebastien Leroy. Perfectly pronounced. You see, it works. Yeah, I am a former cruise. I mean, actually, not even completely a former cruise manager with AmaWaterways because I'm still doing a few cruises every year. When I'm not on board a ship, which is probably the case for the majority of us this year, I have the chance to support our travel partners here in Florida. I'm talking to you from Naples, Florida tonight. And we'll try to talk a little bit about these wonderful Christmas markets. I love these cruises. I mean, I've had probably 40, 50 of them over all these years, and they're really absolutely amazing. Now, for those of you who do not know, and of course I start by saying thank you, I did, but you will see that it happens to me a lot. I talk and then the slide comes, and that's really what happens many times. So thank you for joining us once again. And you see, I like actually this little slide with all the different languages. And you have, I mean, of course you have thank you, but then you have hello said all around. I mean, ciao or salve or bonjour. Because we go through a lot of countries with AmaWaterways. At the moment, we have 33 different itineraries that take us through quite a few countries. And as a river cruise line, for those of you who do not know us yet, we only operate, I would say, inland. So meaning that there is a big difference between an ocean cruise and a river cruise. The ocean will take you to a country, meaning that you will go all around this country, I mean, on the, or at least along the coastline, whereas the river will go through it. And our company has been operating for 18 years. So 18 years doing only rivers, and we're not planning on changing anything. We do we will continue doing what we do best. These 18 years of existence are actually thanks to these folks. The two who are actually on the left and in the center are co-founders, and the third gentleman who you have on the right, who I was just talking to a few minutes ago, is a co-owner because his father was the third co-founder of the company. So Rudi Schreiner on the left, our president, CEO and president and founder of the company, architect by trade, great gentleman who has a very long history background in river cruising, because before being with AmaWaterways, he was the CEO of Viking, who you might have heard of. He was also the one who actually turned Uniworld from a bus touring company, which really was at the beginning, into a river cruise. And there we're talking about 1992. So that's quite a few years ago. I mean, and he has created AmaWaterways with Christine, at the time his partner in business, now his partner in life. I mean, they've been married for 10 years. And Christine was also, she has a background, she was working for American Express Travel for a very long time. And after that has been also actually in the lead of the group's program for Viking. And then they decided to found together AmaWaterways with Jimmy Murphy, Gary's father, who was also in the travel business. The Irish, so the Irish people originally, and Brendan Tours, a very big, very famous company. That's the one that Jimmy had founded. They came together in 2002, and I think it's a great thing, and I mean for the guests, but also for me personally to have a trio of people at the head of this company. After 18 years, the company has changed, has grown, of course. And we started in 2002. We had what? We had 0 cruise ship, which can sound sometimes a little weird for a cruise line when you say, well, we don't have any cruise ship, because we were chartering them. Reason for that, and I'm not even sure that I mentioned it, but Rudy is an architect by trade. And so he designed our ships. And he's still, I mean, the next generations, and Tina, I'm sorry, I cannot tell you about this. And I hope that if you join me next year, or actually in 18 months from now, I will be able to tell you, because there will be some very exciting things that nobody has seen before that are coming from AmaWaterways. And that's very important. He put all his knowledge, his architectural knowledge in the design of our ships for the guest experience. And when I say the guest experience, it's really inside the ship, but also outside, meaning how the ship is built, with what is the draft of the ship, what types of engines are we using. I mean, our AmaMagna, the latest jewel in our company, uses hybrid engines. We are looking at solutions now to use electric engines. Is it possible at that stage? Yes, no. So we are looking into that, and that's what I say. That's why I say that it's really great to have these people who are forward-thinking. Christine very much into the wellness, well-being of the guests on board. Gary always for the variety of experiences that guests can enjoy during these trips. And really, when you look at the map, where we operate in quite a few areas. I mean, Europe, of course, main area of operation, but we're also present in Cambodia and Vietnam on the Mekong. We are present in Africa between Botswana and Namibia, and also Zimbabwe east. So that's on the Chobe River, where we have our Zambezi Queen. And then we will be starting Egypt. We were just, for those of you who are on the call, we were just talking about this with Tina a few minutes ago. This will start next year, so 2021, late summer. That's when we will start our program there. That will be absolutely stunning as well. Now, tonight we will focus on something very unique: the Christmas markets. The Christmas markets. These are cruises that only operate from the end of November until Christmas. So it's really a period of 5 weeks, and 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks. But it's really great, because it's for those of you who would have been on a river cruise before, let's say in summer or spring or even autumn, visiting the cities that you've seen, if you've been on the Danube or on the Rhine during Christmas time, will give you a completely different feel about even the country, the people, the atmosphere is completely different. It is absolutely beautiful. And as I show you our fleet at the moment, and the fact, because that's something important to mention, and this last sentence that I'm circling now, I think it is something important these days, because many people see on TV or in the news, our Royal Caribbean had to bring $650 million here. This company had to do this there. United Airlines going. There is a lot of uncertainty, and one thing that we want you to know is that there is no uncertainty on our end, because we carry no debt. And that's why I like these quotes by Rudy, because it is really reassuring to know. And even our 3 next ships actually that are coming, they're already paid in cash. So that's a great thing. And how did that happen? How did Rudy and Christine think about not carrying any debt on the ship? I mean, they've been conservative all the time, yes, but if you remember, approximately 6-7 years ago, there was a huge volcanic eruption in Iceland that really disrupted the air traffic between Europe and North America, let's say, or actually mainly North America. And that's the time when Rudy said, okay, well, and he started thinking of a bigger disruption. a year of disruption. I mean, where the ships would not be able to cruise at all. Well, there we are, 5, 6 years later, we are not able to cruise this year. And that's how he prepared the company for this. And he was not thinking about anything like COVID. He was thinking about an extreme drought, for example, or another volcanic eruption, or anything like this, tsunami, who knows what could have happened. And so it has prepared us. I remember going through, you have these companies who go through these crisis scenarios, etc. So we're very lucky that we did that. And now we can talk about what we do, because we are cruising, and we're the only ones who are cruising currently, the only North American cruise line, and I'm including here Viking, Uniworld, Avalon, Scenic, etc. None of them are cruising. We are cruising with European passengers because we cannot have our North American guests at the moment, but we've been cruising since July 5th. And I think the great news is that after 14 weeks now in cruising on the Rhine and the Danube rivers, we have had 0 COVID case on board. And that's the great news, because this shows that all the safety measures that we've implemented, and also how our ships are built, that's something that is working. So you see these folks here, they wear a mask. Yes, when you're on board the ship, when you're in areas where physical distancing is not possible, you have to wear a mask. But you see that when you're in the lounge, when you're seated, we have put plexiglass separations, but where you can see through, because you don't want to obstruct the view, but you want to make sure that you have a separation, and that you don't worry about who is behind you. We have limited the capacity of the ships, and that's together with the European authorities. We have only a maximum capacity of 100 guests on board the ship at the moment. And this is something that is evolving. Because we are in constant contact with the European equivalent to the CDC, in the European Union. So all these measures, these safety measures that are taken on and off the ship, also for the tours and the excursions, that's something that we're closely monitoring every second week. There is a meeting with them, and it's working very well. It's going well. The crew is smiling. Of course, you can't see the smile, even if they have the mask. But if you look at Captain Ron here, or at Dragan, or at them, you see that they are smiling. Trust me, the smile is still there, and they're ready to welcome you. So now you see when I was talking about the mask, just look behind Captain Ron here. You see the corridor. So obviously here you do not have the possibility to have these. Actually, it's 7 feet in Europe, and it's 2 meters. So it's almost 7 feet of distance, physical distance. So that's where we ask our guests to wear a mask. So just for you to know, the mask is not worn very long when you think about it, because of course when you're in your cabin you don't have to. When you're at the table at dinner you don't have to. Same thing in the lounge. So we are talking about 20 minutes a day. That's what our guests are wearing the mask, and that's an average duration at the moment, about 22 minutes, and that's what has been measured. You always get some very interesting data when you look at these cruises, and everybody's looking at us. I mean, I have friends from other cruise lines. Hey, so how is it going? What are you doing? Because they want to know, because everybody is really eager to go back on rivers. We want to show you all these beautiful places. These are our ships, and they are absolutely beautiful, of course, inside and out. As I said, 100 passengers, 100 guests on board the ships, and that's what you can expect in terms of staterooms, and that's our average size. So the rooms on board our ships, they range from 170 square feet, for our single occupancy staterooms in France, because only our French ships have these single rooms. But we can go up to 710 square feet. So that's on board the Ama Magna. And even when I mentioned 710 square feet, I mean, that's larger than my 2 first apartments. So if you want to enjoy this, feel free to contact Tina. She will tell you all about the different size of staterooms that we have. But as an average, what you see here, 215 square feet, that's the cabin that you will find. That's the largest category of stateroom that we have on board our ships. Approximately 60% are at least this size of cabin, and then higher. Now, dining. Well, dining, I mean, you know, we are different. The good thing when you have less people on board a ship is that you have more space for other things because you don't have to build as many cabins as others do. Because I said in normal times, we have a maximum capacity of 155 people. Others go to 198. We don't do that. But, you know, when you have already 43 guests less on board one ship in the same space, of course, because there is something that is sure. There are no ships that are much bigger than others, I mean, in terms of length. That doesn't exist on river, simply because you have to go through the locks. And if your ship is too long for the lock, but even if you know, some other cruise line would advertise that they have patented long ships. Yeah, well, they might be patented, but they're not any longer than the others because they also have to fit through these locks. So that's very important to know that you have this luxury of space. And that's when we have 40 guests less, but that's 20 cabins less to build, which means that you have this space of 20 cabins where you can have other amenities, a second dining room, a hairdresser salon, a spa, a swimming pool. We carry bikes on board our ship. So all these things that we can have and that others don't. The tours, that's something very important because, of course, when you go on all these excursions, and especially nowadays, as I said, it is evolving. What we've always been known for is to be very personal. And what do I mean with personal? We personalize the tours, meaning that we know that not everybody walks at the same pace, which is why we don't have only the regular walking and then the faster one. No, we don't have that. We don't even use the term faster. We have active, we have regular walk, and we have gentle, because we are not slow, we are gentle. And that's something important because we know, I've seen many times myself on board the ship, I mean, people coming to me, especially when it comes to these cities like you can see here. I mean, that's Bordeaux, and that's maybe not the most flagrant example, but if you go to Dürnstein, for example, which is a beautiful medieval village in the Wachau Valley in Austria, but you have, when a medieval village is 850 years old, and the cobbled stones are also 850 years old, but you have to be careful where you will be walking. And I've seen many people tell me, you know what, Sebastien, I'm not going on the tour today because I don't want to slow down everyone. And my answer has always been the same. You paid like the others, you can enjoy the tours like the others. So go with the gentle, and especially when you're thinking about Dürnstein, we know that it's really rough to get there. So what will we do? If it's too difficult, we take a little mini train, and we will take you to the village with a mini train that will let you really enjoy. And then once you're in the heart of the village, you can walk around with the guide. That's something very important. You also see, and that's very good for physical distancing, you see that the guide here, she has, that's what I'm showing with my with the cursor. She has a transmitter, and you see the microphone here. And the gentleman here, for example, and the lady here, they have these great devices. These are receivers. And that's really good because you can hear exactly what your guide is telling you without being 3 feet behind him or her trying to understand what he or she says. Now, there you can really enjoy, you hear, you can look around. And also the beauty of it is that these devices, they have a range of approximately 100 feet. So when you start being too far away from your guide, you start losing the guide in your ear. You know, okay, it's time to get out of the shop where you went while she was giving explanations because she's continuing the tour. So that's, or he's continuing the tour, whatever. But that's something that is very, very nice. And you see, there are many things. I will come back just to the precedent, to the previous picture, because you see this picture here from the Chef's Table restaurant. This was taken pre-COVID. So we already had the separation. When we think about different things like the groups, like, for example, the air on board the ships, because many people think, I mean, we've heard about the recycled air that you have on ocean liners, that you have on airplanes, etc. We do not have that on board our ships. Again, that's the beauty of having an architect that builds your ships properly. Our air is not recycled. Each and every cabin has an own separated unit that pulls the air from the outside and ejects it immediately. Same thing, the air that is coming into our lounge is not brought into the ship with the same duct, I would say, than the one for the restaurant. They all have separate separate areas and separate air conditioning unit or air forcing unit, if I may say. So that's something that is very important to know. The air that you have is not recycled. We have, of course, everywhere, each area has air filters. But I can tell you one thing is that when people are talking at the moment of, oh, we will change it, we are thinking about it, well, we do not need to think about these things because we did them properly from scratch. So you will for sure be able to enjoy this. Now, continuing with the tours, if you're very active, if you love to bike, we have the bikes, as I said, on board our ships. And don't worry, I know every time, and I mention it now because many people ask me about what happens if the ship leaves without you. Well, in this case, it's normal. The folks, I mean, it's not that the ship left without them on the bike. The bike tour is designed like this. You start with your bike, the ship goes about 20 miles, and then you get back on the ship after that. But don't worry, if for some reason you would miss the ship, we are very we're very good at finding you, and frankly, it has never happened to me in 19 years and approximately 300 cruises. I've never lost one guest, so I'm not planning on doing that anytime soon. So we will make sure that you know when it is time to come back on the ship. You know? And if you love to hike, we have hikes as well. And all these tours that I'm talking about, the Gento, the regular, the bike tours, the hikes, they are all included. Meaning you don't have to worry, you know, if you have multiple tours in one day. Some others will tell you one tour per day is guaranteed included. Well, yes, but if you have 3 tours in the same day, what do? You pay for the 2 others. Not with us. The tours are included, period. And that's something that is very important for you because we would assume that when you go in these areas, you've never been there and you will want to discover them. So let's go now, instead of just talking about what we offer in general, let's go on these Christmas markets. And I will show you there are 2 routes for Christmas markets, and the 2 rivers. Actually, we will introduce a 3rd one in 2022, so sneak peek there. The main rivers are really the Upper Danube and the Rhine River. That's where you will have the most impressive Christmas markets, the most impressive decorations of the cities, and that's where you have the longest Christmas market traditions. There is another river that has that. It's the Moselle. But the Moselle, we are working on it at the moment, and we will start that, as I said, not next year, but the year after that, you will see that the Moselle will come. And I encourage you, if you've never been on the Moselle, that will be the one to go on. But look at this. We are starting in Budapest. And in Budapest, I'm just in front of the St. Stephen's Cathedral. Beautiful place, beautiful city. And actually, as I said, it starts here, and then we will go all the way up to Nuremberg, and then with the possibility to finish in Prague, just for you to see the diversity of all these Christmas markets. So you have the possibility to arrive on a pre-cruise extension where you would stay 2 nights at the Sofitel, at the Chain Bridge, beautiful. You see the Royal Castle that is, oh, excuse me, that's my new mouse. That's an Apple product, so I'm not mastering it yet. So please be so kind to bear with me when you see a picture that you've seen before. It's me trying to learn my Apple thing. So the Royal Castle that is back there, and actually just behind the tram here, you have the Chain Bridge, and the hotel is right there. You are docked on the ship in the city, and when you are in a hotel, you are also in the heart of the city. You see, we love this one because the line number 2 of the tram is the oldest line of tram, not only in Budapest, but in Europe. And Budapest had the first electric tramway at the end of the 19th century, and it's still working, and it's still the same line. It has not changed in 140 years. And you have the possibility to do 2 nights there first, and discover Budapest. We will show you, for example, the Fisherman's Bastion, and try to show you Budapest from a little different perspective, because if everybody always goes to the parliament, to the House of the Parliament, the castle, etc., that's not, of course you will see these sites. We want to show them to you, but we want to show you also other things. When you look at this, I mean, when you look at this Fisherman's Bastion, it looks like something very old. I'm sure that everybody will agree on that. Well, actually it's not. It's from the 19th century. And it's been designed, it's been built as something old by the Guild of the Fishermen. And it's just a decoration purpose. It looks like a fortress defending the top of the Buddha Hill, but it's really not that. And that's the beauty of it. So that's from the top, you see, of the Fisherman's Bastion. So you're on the top of this Buddha Hill. So you have the Gellert Hill back there, and you're really in the heart of the city. And that's what you can expect. When you will go on a Christmas market cruise, we want you to see snow. So you will have snow. You will have, because it is also the only way when you have cooler temperatures to enjoy mulled wine. I mean, drinking a mulled wine when you have 75 degrees Fahrenheit outside, that's not even nice. That's a torture. If you drink a mulled wine when you have 35, 40 degrees outside, that's completely different. There we start enjoying it. And trust me, that's what you have on board. I mean, we're still talking about the pre-cruise, but when you will be on the ship, every time you come back from an excursion, mulled wine is ready for you. I mean, if you don't like the alcohol, don't worry. There will be also a hot tea or a hot alcohol-free punch, but we will always have these hot drinks ready for you with hot towels to make sure that, I mean, after fighting the elements for at least 2 hours in town, you will be coming back to the ship and be able to be in all comfort for the evening. A little view on the Parliament House, because I like to show this, because it is very important when you're on a river cruise to be able to enjoy cities during the day, yes, but also to apprehend them during the night, because all these old cities, and when I say old, I mean the oldest one I think that we visit, or the two oldest ones, I would say are Arles in south of France, which is more than 2,600 years old. And then the other one, the equivalent would be Istanbul. Istanbul has also a very old history there. So we are talking about these old cities, and they have a different flavor, if I can say that. So, you know, you visit a city during the day, and you could do that at your house, I mean at home too, just to understand what I'm saying. And I'm sure you've done it. And that a city looks different during the day and during the night. And Budapest and all these cities absolutely look stunning. But we were talking about Christmas markets. So that's the chain bridge, by the way. And you see, that's what you want to see by night. But you want to go to the Christmas markets. So Vörösmarty is located approximately 5 minutes away from the hotel. And it's approximately 8 minutes away from the ship. So you will have the time, you will be able to see this beautiful Christmas market. It's on the main square where you have the Café Gerbeau. It's really a beautiful Christmas market where you have most of it is local crafts. That's the beauty of it as well, is that you don't have this, and nothing against made in China, because there's a lot of our products that are made in China nowadays in our life, actually most of them. But it's nice when you go in these areas to have the local craft. And that's what you will find in these Christmas markets. You will even see some, when you go to Regensburg, we will go there a little bit later, where you can come, I mean, you know that you have time, you see something that you like, an ornament, and you would like to offer it to somebody in your family. They will make it for you. They will make it right there in front of your eyes. It's not like it's made before. They take their time, they do it. You come, and it's not even more, I mean, you don't be scared with all the prices that you see there, 800, 7,590. It's not dollars, it's forints, okay? And $1 is approximately 300 forints. So don't be scared about the prices, please. But it is really beautiful to be able to see all these different Christmas markets. That's now the next one that we would see in Vienna. So that's one of the ones we would see in Vienna at the city hall. Vienna has 20 different Christmas markets, 8 main ones in the inner city, and then you have 12 additional ones, including one in the Schönbrunn Palace. And we will take you to all these. So for example, here, Maria Theresia Square, and you have the Christmas market between the twin museums. And Vienna is a wonderful city. And again, you will discover Vienna during the day, because we spend the entire day there. So you arrive, in the morning we have the city tour of Vienna. You can do it, I mean, it's a combined bus and walking tour, but you can also take a bike tour. So one thing about the bike tours at this time of the year, since I just mentioned to you, it can be cold. So we always ask our guides, the local guides, because you have these local guides everywhere. When it comes to a bike tour, if the guide says, you know what, it's too dangerous because it's been snowing, it's icy, etc., of course we will not do the bike tour. But if the guide say we can go, you will be able to enjoy the city really at your own pace and with your own means of transportation in that case. And you will see it in the morning. You will see this Maria Theresia Square in the morning with the Christmas market closed, because the Christmas markets open at 12 p.m. every day. And then you come in the evening, you have, and I can tell you, if you go there, remember this. You see Maria Theresia. So you have one of the museums here, and actually the picture is taken from the top of the other museum. So when you will be facing to Maria Theresia, you take a left, you go this way, and you see here where you have this carousel. Actually, the last booth here, that's where you have the best mulled wine in Vienna. That's a winemaker. He makes it on his own. He has his own fields just outside Vienna. It is really the best. And actually, it's not, trust me, when you see all the crowd here, that's not because of the carousel. That's because of the winemaker there. And this, I can promise you, you will love that. And of course, don't think that I'm pushing you to come to alcohol consumption, but when you're there, you want to enjoy this. Look at that, Schönbrunn Palace, the former summer residence of the Habsburgs family with another Christmas market. And they all have a different topic, a different theme every year. And of course, Schönbrunn keeps the same theme, it's royalty, because it was the Habsburgs summer residence palace. It is a beautiful, beautiful palace that you can visit also during the afternoon. We have a tour there, taking you there. So you can visit it in the afternoon or in the evening, this Christmas market. And I recommend the afternoon actually, because at this time of the year, it starts getting dark around 4 p.m. So you can really enjoy this time, come back to the ship around 5 p.m., 5:30, have dinner, early dinner. And then that evening we have a concert, a Viennese concert. And that's something you don't want to miss. Music, opera, ballet, the three combined in one of the most beautiful ballrooms, actually concert rooms in Vienna, the Kursalon, which is where actually Johann Strauss started his career. And it is really a great time. Then we continue to Melk. So we cruised through the Wachau Valley, which is outside Vienna. You cruise for about, we leave around midnight, 1 a.m. And the ship arrives in the Wachau around 8 a.m. And you start cruising this beautiful valley that has been inhabited for 25,000 years, actually 27 to be precise. And how do I know that? Not because I was there, but because in a little village that is called Willendorf, that is in the heart of the Wachau Valley, in 1910, they found a little statue that is approximately 8 inches tall. It's called the Venus of Willendorf. It is in the Natural History Museum in Vienna, actually. And it has been dated with carbon-14. And that's how we know that it's a pagan goddess, a fertility goddess, that has been found there. And we know that it is approximately 27,000 years old, which is how we also know that it's been inhabited for that long. And it makes sense, because it was for all times. I mean, humans needed what? Water, because you could be transported, you could fish, so that's why you have all these villages that have been created for thousands and thousands of years ago. And Willendorf and the Wachau Valley are absolutely beautiful for that. But you will visit Melk, an abbey that is also 1,000 years old, or you can bike through the village. If I'm really frank, visit the abbey. If you have not been there, you will want to see it. It is the place where you will have the most beautiful library, I would say, in the Christian world, because there is another one that is in the Vatican. The problem is that the Library of the Vatican, you cannot visit it that easily. This one, you can, and it has volumes. I mean, it is a gigantic library. If you want to know a little more about it, about Melk, take notes and read a book that is called The Name of the Rose. The Name of the Rose. This was written by Umberto Eco, and there's even a movie that has the same name, that actually stars Sir Sean Connery. It's from, I would say, the late 1980s, and it's also the first time where you will see the actor Christian Slater as an actor. It's a medieval thriller, but what happened is that Umberto Eco wrote the book after visiting this abbey. So all the references, so you will hear a lot about the scriptorium, so where the monks used to write, the dormitorium, where they used to sleep, and the library. And all this thriller happens around the library. And then I think it's a great thing to read that book before going there, because all of a sudden you arrive there, and even if you don't know the abbey, yes, you do know it because you've seen things. And this movie with Sean Connery is absolutely superb. So if you want to see that, feel free to do it. Then we continue our way because we are cruising. We're not here to talk about Umberto Eco all night. And we're cruising to Passau. Passau, the city of the three rivers. And you see one here, the Ilz. One here in the bottom left corner, the Inn. And this one here, the Danube. So you see our Ama Prima. So this picture was taken before she made a U-turn. But Passau is a beautiful town. And again, a lot of possibilities here. You can visit it. You can visit the town by walk because we are docked in the heart of the city. You can take a hike that will take you up to the Veste Oberhaus fortress. You can also do a bike tour that will take you along the Ilz River. And at the end of the walking tour, you will go to the most beautiful, quaint Christmas market that you have in this area. Again, very small one, not a lot of tourists there, for sure. I mean, it's a small Christmas market, and you see all the little figures that you have there. I mean, smokers, etc. They're all made there, or they're all made in the vicinity. I mean, it's these German figures are very famous for that. And the most important, of course, again, the mulled wine and all these things. I mean, because you walk around and you get your mug. That's the great thing, is that you go to a Christmas market there. They give you a boot, and so you pay a deposit. They call it Pfand. So you pay like €1 or €2, whatever, and you take it around with you. And the Christmas market goes all around town, almost back down to the ship. And if you want another mulled wine, you just give back the boot. They will give you a fresh one. You don't have to pay the deposit anymore. You drink it. If you want to keep the boot, keep it. You take it with you. If not, well, you give it back and you get your €2 back. But I can tell you that I've seen many of my guests finishing a week with 12, 14 boots. So, and then of course, when they start having these numbers, you know, they come to the cruise manager's desk and they're like, Sebastien, can you help us shipping that home? And we start looking at the numbers, and the reaction of everyone is the same. We did not drink that much. We just bought them. We're like, yeah, of course, yeah. But that's the beauty. It's really a great time. People love it, and you see there is snow there. So make sure that you have some good shoes. That's something that is very important. Good shoes, warm clothes, and of course, don't worry. We have a wonderful onboard shop on the ship that has all the warm clothes that you would need, but I would really suggest that you have some warm clothes when you go there. It is but it's great though. Look at this city. That's Passau. So this is the cathedral. Okay, you see here a cruise ship at the bottom. So we are docked usually a little bit further up. So the Cathedral of Passau. I hope that you've noticed that I did not talk one time about churches, because every time when people talk about churches, about Europe, let's say, they talk about churches. I mean, you think that when you talk about Europe, you only have one thing to visit, it's churches. Well, no, there are a lot of things to do, but this one, you want to visit it. You want to visit it because it has not, and I'm really not about the religious aspect, because everybody has his or her own confession, so that's okay. But the architectural, you see, I mean, you look at this and it looks like nothing. And you're like, okay, well, that's a big church with 3 onion domes on the top, that's great. But go inside. This is the most beautiful example of Baroque architecture that you will ever see. And I'm putting my hands on fire on that. You have never seen anything like that. And on top of that, you will walk. And remember this. And Tina, you know that you will have the recording of this. So if you guys want to hear, again, the information about this cathedral, think about it. When you will walk in, just walk to the middle of the cathedral and don't turn around. And when you will reach the middle, and you will see it's very easy to see, then you do 180 degrees. And there you will see the most beautiful church organ that you've ever seen. As a matter of fact, it's the largest one in the world. 31,600 pipes that are working together there. And it's so big that it's not actually one organ, it's 3 of them working together. And the third one is actually where? Here, in the ceiling. It's so huge that the pipes are in the ceiling. It's absolutely wonderful. A city that you absolutely want to discover. And just look at that. I mean, when the sun goes down like this, that's a picture taken in the afternoon. It is just beautiful to go there. So I really hope that you will get to enjoy these cities. And same thing, from there, you can also visit Salzburg. Salzburg, beautiful. So we have to drive there because Salzburg, as you can see, is in the mountain. And usually when you have the mountains like this, you don't have a river very close. Or at least you have a river, but you cannot navigate it with a big ship. So Salzburg with, I mean, of course, a beautiful city with the Hohensalzburg fortress, the Christmas market. You will learn about Mozart. You will learn about the sound of music. And we will take you to Hellbrunn. And Hellbrunn is the second. You have two Christmas markets in Salzburg, but I love Hellbrunn because of that's the Advent calendar. And every day you have another one you see. So here, for example, it says 91. It's not 91. It's the 1 and the 9. Because here, for example, is 17. 18 is in 1. And it changes everywhere. It is really great. And then you have a different figure that opens every day. And the Christmas market is really, truly beautiful. Same thing, only local things here. Only, I mean, the people that they have, and they have to pay quite a lot of money, all these craftsmen, to be there because they pay for the booth quite a high rent. But the products that you will see there, anything is absolutely amazing. They ship all over the world. I mean, it's really a great thing. And then we come to my favorite town when it comes to Christmas market. That's the one that I was mentioning earlier, very briefly, Regensburg. Regensburg, you have two Christmas markets. You have this one in the middle of the city, and then we have another one that is called the Romantic Christmas Market. The Romantic Christmas Market is in a castle. It's called Saint Emmeram Castle, and it's owned by the Thurn and Taxis family. Thurn and Taxis family is actually the largest landowner in Austria, and they are, I mean, what they do with this Romantic Christmas market, and so that's still the normal one, okay, which is already absolutely wonderful, but then that's the Romantic Christmas market. So that's their castle, and you have the Christmas market around the castle, as you can see, and you have people just walking there. It looks like a medieval Christmas market. That's a live fire that you see there, because you have booth. For example, if you want a smoked salmon, and the locals will do that. It's been done for 250 years. The locals will come and let's say that you would like a smoked salmon, but they don't go to the supermarket. They come here. The guy is there at his booth. He will cut the salmon in front of you, put it on the wood plank, and start smoking it. And then you come back 3 hours later, and the salmon is ready, and you can take it back home. So it is absolutely superb. And it's outside and inside the castle. So that's the outside part. That's the inside courtyard. It is truly magnificent. That's for me, it's my favorite by far. I mean, and we're the only ones, by the way, taking you there. And I can tell you that because the other Christmas markets are all for free. This one has an extra cost, but we include that. And it is an experience that you will not forget. I mean, you have even people coming from the farms around with their own alpacas, which are llamas basically. They come there, and you have right next to the alpacas. You have what? But you have the products that they make with the wool of the alpaca, and you can have that. And people, I can tell you something is that people love it so much there that they buy. I mean, our guests, they buy stuff that they absolutely don't need. And then like 2 days later, like, why did I buy this? I mean, what? Because it was so wonderful. And that's something that you will not forget. And trust me, I brought a lot of things from Regensburg back here to the USA. But then, and we have, of course, we're talking about the Christmas market, but these are not the only tours that we offer. I've been focusing on it, but don't forget that we have the visit of the city, Tastes of Bavaria, for example. That's another tour. We love Regensburg because Regensburg is a real medieval city. Actually, when you look at the church here, the cathedral, St. Stephen, the church windows, the oldest church windows here are over 1,000 years old. Nothing has been destroyed. The towers that you see here are original. They're 600-700 years old. The Augustine, oh my God, how do I say that? The convent, that's what I was searching for. There is a convent that is 700 years old. The nuns, they've been here for 700 years. Why? Because Regensburg never had any strategic, it was not interesting, strategically speaking. World War I, World War II, there was nothing there. So that's why this city stayed like this. Actually, there was a huge ammunition factory approximately 20 miles away from Regensburg. This one has been carpet bombed, but this city has never been destroyed. And that's why when you go to this bridge here is approximately 700 years old. And at the time, you know, they did not give fancy names. Like, I mean, we don't have a Golden Gate or something. This one is called the Stone Bridge. It's as simple as that, because it's made of stone, so they called it the Stone Bridge. And right there, just at the end, you have the oldest restaurant in Germany. They've been making, and there's only one dish. That's the Regensburg sausage with sauerkraut. That's the only thing you can eat. And they've been making that for 730 years. And you will taste that and you will fall in love with the Regensburg sausage. Or you might wait until the next day and we will cruise on the Main-Danube Canal before arriving in Nuremberg. And in Nuremberg, you have another kind of sausage that is called the Nuremberg sausage, which is the exact same as the Regensburg one, same size, super small. You can eat it in one bite. But there is always this battle going on between Regensburg and Nuremberg. Who has the best sausage? So the Regensburger, of course, will tell you that it's the Regensburg sausage. The Nuremberger will tell you that they have no idea, etc., etc. But you will visit Nuremberg. Nuremberg, beautiful medieval city. The main Christmas market in front of Our Lady's Church. You see this clock here. That's one of the oldest mechanisms in Europe. This one has been working also for more than 600 years, since 1410. So actually 610 years, and it's still working. You only have 3 in Europe, actually, and I would not know about in the world. There must be other places, but at least in Europe, you have the astronomical clock in Prague that is over 600 years of existence and function. And then you have also the astronomical clock in Strasbourg. And so these are the 3 oldest ones. And you have every day at 12, and we show you that, of course, you have here the mannequin. And the mannequin, so the Männlein, is everything is turning. You have different little figurines coming out. That's kind of dancing. It takes only 30 or 40 seconds, and there's no specific music. It's just one glockenspiel, and it makes this. So the first 5 seconds, you're like, oh, that's absolutely beautiful. After 1 minute, you're like, okay, that's nice. But you've seen this has been working for 600 years, and it still works perfectly. But you will visit the Christmas market, very famous for what? So it's the oldest one. It's also one of the largest one, actually maybe the largest one, but very famous for the gingerbread. Gingerbread from Nuremberg, excuse me. Excuse me. I'll be back in a second. Yeah, the gingerbread from Nuremberg, very famous. 2 big houses that have it. Excuse me, I'm almost done. And you will see it also by night. And you see, so this one, I was telling you about the different names and that they were not really original in the old days. You see this? This is a fountain. But guess how it's called? Does it look beautiful? Mm-hmm. Yes. So they called it the Beautiful Fountain. So that's the name, and that's what you would see, and that's what you would experience in Nuremberg. You have the medieval aspect. You also have the World War II aspect that you can also enjoy, and we have different tours. Because you know that in Nuremberg, at the end of the World War II, of course, you had the Nuremberg trials. So you would visit the courtroom 600. You would see the Reichsparteitag, which is this huge Colosseum that had been built by Hitler. You have the Zeppelin field. The Zeppelin field, that's this huge ground where you had actually these huge military reviews that Hitler was. So you will see all that if you're interested in. Now we have 3 different tours, either a World War II tour, and everybody sees the Christmas market at the end, or a medieval tour, because you have also the Imperial Castle, or actually a combination of the 2. And then we would disembark, and we would have the possibility to continue to go to Pilsen. Pilsen, nothing to do really with Christmas markets, but that's for those of you who would like beer. If you ever drank a Pils beer, but there you go. You would go to the birthplace of the Pils beer before going to Prague. And then you would continue with these beautiful Christmas markets and this wonderful city that is Prague. And I'm showing you a few pictures because really it is a magic city during summer, during autumn, but at Christmas time, when you see this, so this is the old city hall that you see here with the tower. And I was just mentioning to you the astronomical clock. The astronomical clock is actually just on the other wall right here. But if you look at the Christmas market with Our Lady after 10, really a super place to finish a voyage like this. We stay 3 nights in Prague. You have 2 full days. You have the visit of the city. You visit, of course, the Prague Castle, which I showed you here. So this is the largest castle complex in the world. So the Prague Castle, you have the possibility to visit it, of course, with your guides. You can go, you can take again, a bus and walking tour. You can also hike, so you can go all the way from the hotel up to the castle and come back. Then you have also a dinner, a folklore dinner and show that is offered. And then there is also what we call an optional tour. So an optional tour, a little different. That's something that would have an extra cost. And it's on top of all the layers of tours that I said, but this one is the visit of Terezin. So it's the visit of the former concentration camp of Terezin. So we know that it's not for everybody, which is why we do not include that. And if you decide to go there, I have been there quite a few times, and I truly believe that it is something that needs to be seen from a historical standpoint, and to make people think a little bit about what they have nowadays, and where we all come from, and what are the dark parts of history. But again, this is an optional tour. And then, of course, you spend your time, in Prague. And it's really, truly a beautiful place. Actually, our hotel is just, you see, so that's the main, the old town square. And our hotel is right there. Actually, you see the H, you see this blue sign here. That's the Hilton Hotel that is right there. So it's really, you walk down the street, boom, you're there. And here you have some of the most wonderful restaurants. And trust me, if you want to go to special places, ask your cruise manager when you will be there. The cruise manager is with you from the pre-extension to the end of the post-extension. If there are places, usually I and my colleagues, we take you on an orientation walk the first evening to show you where would be the ATM. If you need a pharmacy we would show you where a pharmacy could be, and we would help you anyway. We show you where to go and where not to go also when we are talking about restaurants. When you're talking about changing money, because here in Czech Republic, they do not take the euro. That's the only place where they take the Czech koruna, so Czech crown. And there are places where you don't want to change money. This we show you. So these are things that you can feel free to ask your cruise manager. They are here for you all the time until the moment you leave from the hotel, no matter when. When you have a transfer taking you to the airport, if your flight is at 6 a.m., this means that you would have to wake up probably at 3. Your cruise manager will be there to say goodbye, to make sure that your transfer is here. Trust me, I've done that quite a few times, and we will continue doing it. So now what I will do, I will open... so I will unmute everyone. There you go. You're all unmuted. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. Just for you to know, if you're interested in booking 2021, 2022, feel free to go and ask Tina, because we have quite a few great offers at the moment. Including free air or business class air for $29.99, and this has been extended so the booking period has been extended until December 31st. So feel free to go and ask Tina if there are times, because she will find, she will tell you what the best deal will be for you. We will be able to talk about the cabin categories, about when to go, what to do. So feel free to contact her for that. Do we have questions, folks?
Yeah, I have one. I don't know. Am I speaking to somebody?
No.
Oh, you are.
Okay. I noticed on one of your tours, it was one of the bike tours, and you said it was like 20 miles long.
Yeah.
Do you, by any chance, do tours where they have more like a moped or scooters for 20 miles long?
No, and this, unfortunately, the bikes, for example, many people ask us, do you have these e-bikes? No, we don't. And I will tell you that some other cruise lines used to have the e-bikes, but the problem is that they have had accidents, so everybody is going very quickly away from the e-bikes. But okay, when I'm talking about the 20-mile tour, that's the only one that is that long. Okay, that's the one where you have the that's in the Wachau Valley. That's between Dürnstein and Melk. It's actually 23 miles. That's the only one. All the others, when you take Passau, is around it's 10 miles, and there is a lot of time. I mean, the 10-mile tour, and plus, you know, when you are at that time of the year, it's kind of, I will not say cold, but the temperatures remind you that you want to pedal, you know. So it's 10 miles. You have about 2.5 hours for 10 miles. It's really comfortable to do that. And we always have two guides, you know. We always have one that is in the lead, and then we always have one at the end for those who would go a little more slow. But we use regular bikes.
Okay.
And that's optional. Like, you can stay on ship if you want.
Right. But I do like the bike. I just don't know if I could do 20 miles.
Well, but let me tell you this. Because of course I've been talking about the guided tours, etc., etc. But let's say we're in Passau or we're in Vienna, and well, the bike tour, I mean, let's say to go to Klosterneuburg is also about, or there is even the old Vienna bike tour. They're all like 8 miles, 9 miles, but you want to do it on your own because you want to do only just a little ride. I mean, and trust me, I'm pretty certain that not all the bikes will be taken. But just ask one of us. You just ask at the reception, "Hey, can I have a bike?" They will give you a helmet. They will make you sign the bike agreement. You know, that's this little form that says basically if you break a leg or you know, or you give us everything you have, and then you can go biking on your own. I mean, it's super nice to go. You know, when you're in Vienna or anywhere, you go along the river. You have bike trails everywhere. And you can't get lost because basically you go one way and then to come back you just turn around and you go back. So it's really flexible on that from that point.
And that one's flat, right? The one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was actually a flat one.
Oh yeah. But most of them are flat. You know, the bike, you're along a river, so the river doesn't go up and down. It's
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Other questions?
I know you mentioned something about there was another one that you guys were thinking of adding in 22. When do you think you're going to have that available to sell?
Can't tell you that. This was just this was. I think it will. I mean, if you ask me, I think we will have available for booking around. I would say around July of next year.
Okay.
Will there be? That'll be Christmas market, right?
That will be Christmas market only. Yeah, that's why it will not be. It's not available yet. That's why it will take some time because we're almost completely done with. I mean, the program is done, and now it's just about docking times, etc., etc. But that's still takes a little bit of time, and frankly, COVID has delayed quite a few things. But we're convinced. I mean, we're convinced that this will be a beautiful cruise. So people will love it. And I did not talk, I did not talk about the Rhine tonight, but the Rhine itinerary, actually, we would need another hour to talk about the Rhine because, when you start in Amsterdam, go all the way up. I mean, because Amsterdam, when I talk about Christmas time cruises on the Rhine, I like guests actually to start in Amsterdam and go all the way up to Basel, not the other way around. Because in the Netherlands, you don't have a lot of Christmas market traditions. It really starts in Germany, and then so you start in Cologne, then you go to Rüdesheim, then you continue to Heidelberg, you arrive in Strasbourg, you go to Breisach, and then you arrive in Switzerland. And I think that anybody who goes on the Rhine should take the post extension in Switzerland, because going to the Christmas market in Zurich, and you have two of them. You have one at the main. You have the main one the main one. the so-called main one at the opera in Zurich, but you have another one in the train station, and the one in the train station is, and people would say, oh, why would I go in the train station? Because it's so big, and the front porch of the train station, if I can say so, is so huge. They put a Christmas tree in there. It's approximately 100 foot tall, and they decorate it with Swarovski crystals.
Wow.
7,000 of them.
Wow.
And I mean, and that's what I love in Switzerland. There is no security system. Nothing. People just don't steal there. So it's there, and it's beautiful. And you walk around, and you have a little village that is built there, and you have, I mean, you smell, you know, just thinking about it, the raclette cheese. So you basically, what you do is that you take a potato, they open it, and then the raclette cheese, and that's the shaved cheese. They shave it in the potato, and then you put some bacon on it. So it's approximately 15,000 calories, the stuff. But you don't care at that stage, because you're just walking around. It smells so good, and then you start looking at, oh, Swiss chocolate here, Swiss chocolate there. It is simply beautiful.
Sounds amazing.
It is amazing.
And Switzerland in the winter is almost a must.
Oh yeah, no, it's and I did not even talk about Lucerne. I mean, Lucerne, you have a restaurant. I mean, and same thing. If you decide to go there, and if you decide to go and say to Tina, hey, Sebastien said that they have ideas for restaurants. I mean, feel free to ask her, because I can tell you that you have the fish there, etc. I know quite a few restaurants there where you absolutely have to go when you're there. I mean, to have a fondue. I mean, if you go to Switzerland and don't eat a fondue, it's like, you know, going to Paris and you don't want to see the Eiffel Tower or something. Any more questions?
No.
No?
No.
Well,
No, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sebastien, thank you so much. This third one. I thank you so much for spending all that time with us to show us all of these wonderful cruises. It's just amazing. I felt like I was in a fairy tale for some of the cities that you showed us tonight. They just were
take us off camera.
fantastic.
yeah, and really, you know, we'll go there soon. So I hope to see some of you there, because there are really great experiences. I think that once this COVID chapter will be closed, we will go back there. Everybody's ready to go, as far as I know, and we'll have great time. So again, thank you for being here tonight. Feel free to contact Tina if there's anything, because if you want to know something more, I mean, she has my phone number, so she can always contact me. Have a great evening. Thank you for your time, and well, we'll set up some other cruise nights. We have a few more itineraries, Tina, that we can talk about.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know everyone has told me, Sebastien, how much they love these cruise nights with you. They were very complimentary. You don't have to hear that because you're off by the time everyone's telling me that, but I just wanted to let you know that they're very appreciative, and they enjoy the time you spend with us.
Thank you,
Sebastien.
Yeah,
thank you.